You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never...
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers.
For years, warning signals were treated like background noise. Uncomfortable moments were laughed off. Strange footage turned into entertainment, and serious questions were quietly avoided. Now, as 50 Cent's documentary forces the past back into the spotlight, the sequence of events is being re-examined, and long-ignored murmurs are finally demanding attention. At the center is Diddy, a heavyweight figure who controlled access and opportunity, and Justin Bieber, a gifted young talent drawn into that world before he had the armor to navigate it. This isn't about clipped videos or online speculation. It's about power, complicity, and how reality can remain concealed for years when silence is more profitable than accountability.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
That out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15, you could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
Alright, 16.
You're not ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down,
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Alright.
Then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
Justin Bieber's rise was packaged as a perfect pop-era success story, but behind the glow sat a more troubling truth. A teenager navigating powerful adult circles with little visible safeguarding. Old clips and interviews show him repeatedly placed in environments where influence and access took priority over age-appropriate limits, a pattern hiding in plain sight. For years, These moments were dismissed as normal celebrity culture rather than questioned as a deeper industry failure. This isn't about a single clip or moment. It's about conditioning, about a system trained to ignore red flags. When youth becomes currency for opportunity, one hard question cuts through everything. Who is held accountable for the cost?
You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody gonna come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, then have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot.
For years, 50 Cent positioned himself as an outsider to Sean Diddy Combs' inner circle, aware of the energy and unwilling to engage. Yet his comments were routinely dismissed as bitterness or rivalry. Now, as legal scrutiny intensifies and public perception shifts, those remarks resurface with renewed gravity and sharper meaning. This doesn't validate every claim, but it reframes intent, exposing how warnings can exist long before proof is officially recognized. The truth is uncomfortable. It's easy to ignore criticism when it comes from a voice people would rather discredit. And that leaves a pressing question. How many early signs are overlooked simply because the messenger disrupts the narrative? Diddy's influence extended well past the studio, determining who was welcomed into rooms where careers were accelerated or silently stalled. Justin Bieber's proximity to that world wasn't an exception, but a reflection of a larger industry pattern, where advancement flowed through powerful intermediaries and closed-door leverage rather than transparent, accountable pathways.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Something, everything ain't fast.
Shape is white.
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, and he was an A-lister, he was younger, you know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy.
The real issue goes beyond what might have happened out of sight and focuses on why accountability collapsed in a system where success is linked to proximity to power. When progress is granted through access, lines erode quickly and caution is treated as weakness instead of protection. In that environment, the pressure isn't subtle. It's structural, driven by control and imbalance. The core conflict is power itself. Who truly has the freedom to say no, and who is left to absorb the fallout when they do?
I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. They got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's...
Long before Justin Bieber became a worldwide phenomenon, Usher publicly described entering Diddy's sphere as a teenager and later acknowledged being exposed to adult pressures far too soon. That history matters because it establishes pattern, not rumor. When the same dynamics surface across different eras, coincidence weakens and a deeper continuity takes shape, where authority and influence are passed along without real reform. Recognition without correction becomes its own failure. If unease was identified once and left unresolved, the lingering question cuts sharply. Why did the system remain intact when the next young star was guided down the very same road?
Might make you change your mind. Look at Little Nas X. He fizzled out fast too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber is a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. And boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher Raymond.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher Raymond, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over Frosted Flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them on and lost, is still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets like that whole scheme.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
But why? He don't even want them. Don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
As scrutiny around Diddy intensified, many former allies faded into silence, while 50 Cent amplified his stance, exposing an unspoken industry equation. Challenging the narrative risks relationships, while staying quiet preserves them, until allegiance and self-interest blur into the same instinct. This isn't driven by panic. It's calculated restraint. A system where honesty has to fight for space against professional survival. And when silence becomes the most secure option, one hard question refuses to disappear. Can accountability truly survive in an environment built to avoid it?
I watched a video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billie. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just say real thing. Real life street stars. Know what time it is. Jermaine Dupri said something interesting. He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. When you got gospel, rhythm and blues, that's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music. Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real. Right. There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that.
Justin Bieber has never publicly accused Diddy of criminal wrongdoing, but his later candor about anxiety, emotional strain, and personal instability adds an important dimension to a much more layered narrative. He has spoken about being pushed into overwhelming pressure at a young age, surrounded by adults with competing interests, and trying to manage massive success without the guidance or tools needed to protect his mental well-being. That history doesn't deliver simple answers, but it disrupts surface-level interpretations, underscoring the real cost of maturing too quickly inside a system where safeguarding a young artist was never clearly the priority.
That just testified against Diddy to the grand jury and had to give up 8 videotapes to the feds that contained celebrities in these freak-offs with Diddy is now listing some of the names that he saw on these tapes. And this man said that he got these tapes from a very close friend of Kim Porter's, and these were Kim Porter's tapes that she was going to use against Diddy. And some of the names that he says are some that we have heard rumored over the years. He said he saw Justin Bieber on this tape and he appeared to be underage during this time. He also saw Usher on these tapes and Usher definitely appeared to be underage. And this one gave me the chills because we've heard that Usher is the one that sent Justin Bieber to Diddy. Courtney Burgess sat down with the Too Strong channel here on YouTube and started naming some of the celebrities that he saw on these tapes.
Were kids involved in these parties that you can verify from looking at the tapes?
If Justin Bieber was older than he's supposed to have been, yes.
if Usher was older, well, Usher was definitely young.
Okay.
You understand? It showed the part with his, the blood was all in his bed. You understand? It looked like they came home from a event, a party or something.
Went on to explain how Danny Boy was also in one of these videos with Mary J. Blige and Diddy together. And Danny Boy admitted when he was 15 that Mary J. Blige flew him out to New York and he slept with her while he was underage.
The point here isn't to assign legal conclusions, but to confront human consequence. Harm doesn't always arrive with formal accusations or precise definitions. It often surfaces later as lasting strain, disrupted balance, or wounds that were never given words. When intensity and exposure are baked into a system, damage can accumulate without one dramatic event to point to. That reality forces an uncomfortable reckoning. If the problem is structural rather than singular, why do we demand a specific allegation before we're willing to admit that something clearly failed?
Mary J, Danny Boy, okay. You know what Danny Boy is?
I heard that before. I don't, I've been so far away from hip hop, I forgot, but I have heard that name, Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, back then, he looked like he was about 16. They both was about.
He also claimed that Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, were in these videos, and he also said that there was photographs and videos of Diddy eating off of young girls.
Pictures or images of any of this stuff.
Yeah, I got Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son, whatever his name is. Other females on the table, they was young. He was eating off them. A lot of entertainments in there. I got calls from certain one to get the tape out of my hand. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I have said that if this man testified to the grand jury, the feds had to have some reason to bring him in to actually testify against Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this man naming all of the people on the Diddy tape.
When Diddy's story entered the federal courtroom, the conversation moved from rumor to regulated examination, anchored in filings, procedures, and verifiable outcomes. Legal boundaries defined what could be responsibly said, even as they exposed broader issues institutions are often unequipped to address. Courts are designed to rule on conduct, not culture. And that gap leaves deeper systemic failures untouched. The takeaway is clear and uncompromising. Legality does not equal integrity, and procedural resolution does not erase long-term harm. So when a case is closed in documentation, the real challenge still stands. Does accountability stop with the verdict, or is that where the reckoning actually begins?
Do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm gonna give you something different. And I'm gonna give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up and he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he think this person may be a witness. Right?
The intersection of 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber reveals a deeper truth about celebrity-driven ecosystems where power concentrates upward, vulnerability is pushed downward, and accountability arrives last, if it arrives at all. Youth is marketed as authenticity, proximity is reframed as mentorship, and silence is rewarded as professionalism, normalizing imbalance until it no longer raises alarms. This isn't a story built on absolutes or single targets, but on repeated conditions that reliably produce damage. And when the same framework delivers the same consequences over and over, one question becomes impossible to ignore. When does the system stop serving as background context and start demanding scrutiny itself?